Hello, everyone. This is James Song here. Welcome back to the TOEFL show. Today, I have a real treat for you. I'm giving you a full lecture of answer and explanation of one full TOEFL reading passage with 10 questions. As you're probably aware, my last video, I already put up a video with this passage with 10 questions in full, so you can actually take the test by yourself. So if you took the test by yourself and now ready to get the full lecture of answer and explanation of each and every question, then here it is. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's get started. Okay, guys, let's start question number 1. Let's read the question first. The word marked in the passage is closest in meaning to. Okay, so this is vocabulary question. So let's read the passage to find out the context to solve this question. Cave art in Europe. This is our title, paragraph 1. The earliest discovered traces of art are beads and carvings and then paintings from sites dating back to the Upper Paleolithic period. Okay, so earliest type of arts are beads, carvings, and painting. And when it all started is all the way back to Upper Paleolithic period, Old Stone Age. So very, very, very long time ago. Okay, next sentence. We might expect that early artistic efforts would be crude. Yeah. Why? Because it's so long ago, right? Because it's from Old Stone Age, the earliest discovered art. We expect the quality of art to be crude. Okay, so crude should be part of your TOEFL vocabulary. Those of you who do not know what crude means, it means simple, basic, rudimentary, primitive, not very high quality, very low quality, very simple. Okay, so that's crude. So we might expect that early artistic effort would be crude, naturally, because it's so long ago. But, okay, so most important word here, but, so we already know the meaning of this sentence. You know, this sentence must say the early artistic effort of mankind from Upper Paleolithic period was not crude. Actually, it was quite significant, quite substantial. It was quite polished. It was quite high level. This sentence would mean something like that because of but here. Okay, so we already know it's going to say early artistic efforts were not crude. Okay, but the cave painting of Spain and southern France show a marked degree of skills. Okay, so if you knew already what marked means, it means significant, substantial. Okay, well done. But if you didn't know, this is, quite an easy question, I think, because understanding the context by understanding this but and crude, we already know marked degree of skills would mean high degree of skill, considerable degree of skills, significant degree of skills, substantial degree of skills. Okay, so if you didn't know the meaning of marked as a vocabulary, then all you need to find is not crude. We need something opposite meaning of crude. So let's solve this question. A, considerable, bang, perfect answer right off the bat. Sorry. Okay, so considerable means significant or something that is substantial. B, surprising. Well, I mean, you could be pleasantly surprised, but surprising does not directly mean opposite to crude. Okay, surprising is just when you surprise when somebody tap you on the shoulder from behind. Okay, so it's not the answer. See, limited, it's almost like opposite of what we're looking for, because we're looking for a meaning of opposite of crude. So, quite high level or polished or advanced. But limited just means under the limit, within the boundary. Okay, so it doesn't mean substantial or significant. Limited means, quite low, right? Within the limit, not above that. Okay, so limited is definitely the wrong answer, because it's opposite of what we're looking for in meaning. Okay, adequate, yeah, pretty good try from ETS. Okay, adequate might sound positive in some sense, because in a positive connotation, adequate could mean just right, but adequate means something is adequate means it's just to the level to necessity. Okay, so it's not high level, it's not beyond or above what you need, it's just at what is required, what is needed, nothing more than that. So it's adequate. So in a positive sense, it could mean like good enough, right? That's fine. It meets the requirement, right? But it doesn't mean high level or substantial or significant. Okay, so just right. Okay, but not above and beyond that. So just to the level that is needed. So it could, mean something quite neutral or even negative. Okay, so that's what adequate means. So adequate is definitely not the answer. All right, so let's just read out the sentence, putting considerable instead of marked, and see whether it makes sense. We might expect that early artistic efforts would be crude, but it's not crude. The cave paintings of Spain and southern France show a marked degree of skills, showed a considerable degree of skills. Perfect. Okay, so question 1 done. A is the answer. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, question number 2. Let's start by reading the question. Question number 2. According to paragraph 2, it's right here and below. What makes some researchers think that, okay, what is it? What is it that certain cave paintings were connected with magical religious activity? So this is definitely a factual question, in that we need to find something that lead us to believe that certain cave paintings were connected with magical religious activity. Okay, so there will be a detail in paragraph 2 to tell us that some things, okay, that we can know certain cave paintings were connected with magical religious activity. So let's find the answer by reading the passage. Paragraph 2, right here. The researchers, Peter Wucko and Andre Rosenfeld, identified, okay, so they found, what did they find? 3 principal locations of paintings in the caves of Western Europe. Voila. So they actually found 3 locations of the cave painting. Okay. All right. So what are the location? Location number 1, in obviously inhabited rock shelters and cave entrance. So the first location where they found cave paintings, okay, first location was inhabited rock shelter. So it shows where these people lived, okay, rock shelters and entrance of caves. So that's first location. Second location, in galleries immediately off the inhabited areas of caves. Okay, so not quite right at the rock shelters and cave entrance where they lived, but kind of right next to it, okay, there were galleries to show these paintings, not far away, or right next to, very close to the first location. Okay, there were galleries. All right, so no mentioning of magical religious activities yet. So hopefully location 3 will tell us something about magical religious activities. Okay, third location, number 3. In the inner reaches of caves. Okay, so inside of the caves, deep inside of the caves, whose difficulty of access. Okay, so deep inside of the caves, it was difficult to get to, access. Okay, it was difficult to get to, has been interpreted, explained as a sign. Okay, so this was a sign because it was difficult to get to, because it's inner reaches of caves. So deep inside the caves, that was difficult to get to was a sign that magical religious activities were performed there. Voila. Okay, so location 3 is the answer. Okay, and the answer is inner reaches of caves were made people difficult to get to. Okay, all right, so let's solve this question by choosing the right answer. Pretty straightforward. I think A, the paintings were located where many people could easily see them. No, right? Difficult to get to, deep inside the caves, right? So the whole point was difficulty of access right here. Right? So, you know, the paintings were located where many people could easily see them is almost the opposite, right, of difficulty of access. So A is wrong answer. B, Upper Paleolithic people share similar beliefs with contemporary people who use paintings of animals in their magical religious rituals. It's just not mentioned at all. Okay, not mentioned at all. I don't know where this come from. There is no mentioning of this whatsoever from paragraph 2. So B is out as well. Okay, C. Evidence of magical religious activity has been found in galleries immediately. No, the answer is a third location, inner reaches of the caves. But C is talking about the second location, where galleries immediately off the inhabited area of caves in second location. So C is wrong as well. So D must be right, but let's double check to make sure. The paintings were found in hard to reach places. See, there is a small paraphrase here. Away from the inhabited parts of the caves. Okay, let's work this out. So what is the paintings were found in hard to reach places? It is paraphrasing of course, difficulty of access. Okay. Away from the inhabited parts of the caves is what? The inner reaches of caves. Why? Because where do people used to live? Rock shelters or entrance of the caves, not deep inside of the caves. So they found it deep inside of the caves, not entrance of the caves. So inner reaches of the caves means it's far away from the inhabited parts of the cave, which was entrance part. Okay, so that is paraphrasing of this. Okay. And of course, the hard to reach places is paraphrasing of difficulty of access. Okay. So once again, factual question, done and dusted. This is the right answer. And, you know, the answer will be given explicitly directly from the passage word for word. But when you choose the right answer choice, they may paraphrase it. Like meaning is exactly the same. Meanings are the same, but obviously they could do some paraphrasing to make it slightly harder for you to choose the right answer. Okay? So in hard to reach places is difficulty of access. Away from inhabited parts of the caves is inner reach of the cave. Okay? So question 2, done and dusted. Answer is D. Let's move on to the next question. All right, question 3, another vocabulary question. Okay, so we get 2 vocabulary questions in this test set. Okay, so it's a vocabulary question. I mean, obviously, it's going to help you if you know what trappings mean as vocabulary. But, let's read the passage and try to work out the context and get some clue, as we should do. Paragraph 3, the subjects of the paintings are mostly animals. Okay, so they drew animals. The paintings rest on bare walls. Okay, so paintings were on bare walls, so empty walls. So walls had nothing on it. It was empty, bare. Okay, the synonym of bare is empty. So they drew, sorry, I'm writing empty twice. Okay, so they drew animals. They drew animals on empty walls. Okay, with no backdrop. So without anything, without any background decoration. Okay, with no backdrops means background, or environmental trappings. No background or no environmental background or environmental decoration. So what this sentence is trying to say, this is the key part here. Okay, the painting was rest on bare walls with nothing, without anything. Okay, so without any background, right? Okay, so let's go back to the question and solve this question. Should be easy. The paintings rest on bare walls with no backdrops or environmental condition. No, like no environmental background or decoration. Okay, that's what we're looking for. So condition doesn't mean like there's no background or no decoration. Okay, problems certainly not. Okay, all right, we just talking about no background, no environmental influence, even worse. Okay, all right, we just talking about there was nothing on it. The wall was empty. That's all we're trying to say. D, decoration. Yeah, makes perfect sense. The painting rests on bare walls, which means without backdrops or environmental decoration. So there was no background, no decoration whatsoever. So D is the right answer. And once again, the question is kind enough that, level of difficulty is not that high in that, we can clearly find the right answer as long as we understand the context, hopefully. Okay. So question 3, the answer is D. And let's move on to the next question. Okay, question 4. Let's read the question. Which of the sentences below best expresses the essential information in the highlighted sentence in the passage? So it's called sentence simplification question. That's the question type, simplification. And what we need to do is we need to choose the right answer that only shows essential information from this sentence. Okay? All right, let's read on. Incorrect choices can change the meaning in important ways or leave out essential information. So if the meaning of the sentence has changed, or if they leave out some important information, then it will be the wrong answer, right? So let's read this highlighted sentence first. Perhaps, like many contemporary peoples, okay, so perhaps means maybe, possibly, like many contemporary people, so we still need the subject. Who are we talking about? Upper Paleolithic men and women, okay, so Upper Paleolithic people believe that, what did they believe? The drawing of a human image could cause death or injury. Okay, so that's first part, right? So remember the previous video when I was covering this question type? We really need to comprehend in full, like in real detail, and we need to divide our comprehension into 1 or 2 or 3 different parts, okay? All right? So the first part is basically saying maybe, right? Possibly, Upper Paleolithic people believe that drawing of humans could cause death or injury to human beings, okay? And the second part, and if that were indeed their belief, so it's a repetition here, we can take this out because there's perhaps, or we can put if right here, okay? If Upper Paleolithic people believe that, then, you know, whatever. So if that were indeed their belief, so if this was true, basically, if this was true, and there's an if here, it's a repetition, but also remember, it's perhaps, okay? So they still saying possibly, maybe, you know, they're not stating the fact, okay? Upper Paleolithic people believe that. Instead, they have perhaps, maybe here, okay? So that's why probably there's a repetition here as well, okay? So let's take out the perhaps. If it was true, then, so it's cause and effect, okay? So if they believe this, then, so this must be the second part, okay? It might explain why human figures are rarely depicted in cave art, okay? So this is the cause, and the effect is, okay? If they really believe that, the cause, okay, then what's the effect? What's the second part? It might explain why humans were rarely, not often, depicted in cave art. Okay, they didn't draw humans very often. Okay, they draw humans rarely. Okay, okay, so this is a result, and this is a reason. Okay, so it's saying maybe Upper Paleolithic people believe that if they drew humans, it would bring death or injury to people. Then that is a good reason why we cannot find many humans in their cave art, right? Okay, right? So it's cause and effect. This is a reason, and this is result, right? So we need to find the right answer that contain both parts that we understood within this one sentence. So let's go. Upper Paleolithic people, like many contemporary people, believe that if they drew a human image in their cave art, it will cause death or injury. What's good here? Not, you know, looks nothing wrong here. Looks correct. So A is the right answer. What do you think? Okay. It leaves out two completely, right? It leaves out two completely. Okay. This answer choice A does not have anything that says then this is the reason why upper Paleolithic people did not draw humans very often. We need that as a content, but it leaves out this second part completely. So if you look at answer choice A, it only contains the first part of this sentence. It does not have the second part at all. Okay, so A is the wrong answer. Okay, B. Many contemporary people believe that the drawing of a human image can cause... Okay, look, guys, this is a big trick, quite humorous to me. The subject here is a contemporary people. Okay, let's read till the end because it's pretty funny. Many contemporary people believe that the drawing of a human image can cause death or injury. So they like upper Paleolithic people. So what is the subject here? Contemporary people rarely depict human figures in their cave art. I mean, if the both subject think the same way, if the subjects are different, then the meaning of the sentence is completely different. Okay, this sentence is saying, just like many contemporary people, the subject is upper Paleolithic people believe this way, right? So it's like upper Paleolithic people, like contemporary people, believe this way. That is the meaning of sentence. The sentence is not trying to describe what contemporary people thought. Okay. Let me break down this easier for you. Let me give you an example. So me and my father both like chocolate, right? But the meaning of a sentence is completely different if I say, I, like my father, enjoy eating chocolate. It's talking about me. James likes chocolate, right? But if the sentence say, my father, like James, enjoy eating chocolate, what is it talking about? It's talking about my father. So it's a completely different meaning, right? So B is wrong because the main subject is changed. Okay, C. If upper Paleolithic people, like many contemporary people, yeah, so far so good, if they believed that the drawing of a human image could cause death or injury, perfect. First part, clear. This belief might explain why human figures are rarely depicted in cave art. Perfect. Okay, cannot be clearer than that. Okay, so it covers this perfectly. If you read this again, it covers perfectly. The C is exactly what we're looking for. It's saying, yeah, let me not repeat myself. You get my point. It's I'll be just repeating myself. It's exactly same as our note right here. Okay, so C is the right answer. D, although already wrong. Yeah, I'll read it through, but there was no contrast in this sentence, in the flow of the sentence. Okay, it was cause and effect, so we already know it's wrong answer because it has although. But let's read them out. Although many contemporary people believe that, yeah, subject is wrong as well. They're talking about contemporary people, not upper Paleolithic people. Although many contemporary people believe that the drawing of a human image can cause death or injury, so wrong meaning. Researchers cannot explain why. Yeah, let's stop. Right, it's wrong. Every line. Okay, right. So it says it gives us a good clue why humans were not depicted in their art. So they kind of understand some things, not researchers cannot explain. So it's wrong in so many ways. Okay. Right. So the right answer, question 4, is C. Let's move on. Next question, please. All right. Question number 5. Why does the author mention that? Okay. So it's a rhetorical purpose. So it's purpose question in that. Yeah, let's read the sentence first, question first. Why does the author mention that? Mention what? Upper Paleolithic cave art seem to have what? Reached a peak towards the end of the Upper Paleolithic period when the herds of game were decreasing. Okay, so the question is, what is the reason? What is the purpose? Author is saying this highlighted part in order to convey what message? Okay, so why does author say this? In order to say what? Okay, so what is the purpose of mentioning this highlighted part? Okay, so yeah, we have to read the passage. We're still paragraph 3. So, previous question was paragraph 3 as well, but we're just continuing the second part of the paragraph 3. Okay. Another explanation for the focus on animals might be that these people thought to improve their luck at hunting. Okay, so if you remember the previous question, one theory was because if they drew human, then it would bring death and injury to people. So they maybe draw animals as their subject. But there is another theory. Okay, another theory is that animal was the subject of their art because they wanted to improve their luck at hunting. That's the reason. Okay. This theory is suggested by evidence of chips in painted figures, perhaps made by spears thrown at the drawings. Okay. So the support. So this sentence is the theory. Okay. The theory is maybe they drew animals to improve their luck at hunting. Okay. And this is the supporting detail, right? Okay, so this is supporting detail. Okay, by evidence of chips, so broken parts in the painted figures. Why? Perhaps made by spears. So probably they were throwing the spears at the painting, to hope improve their chance for hunting. Okay. All right, next sentence, start with but. So super important. We may, we should pay attention because it's a contrast here. So probably this sentence will be talking or disagreeing with previous sentence, okay? But if improving their hunting log was the chief motivation for the paintings, meaning primary reason, number one reason for the paintings, it is difficult to explain why only a few show signs of having been speared, okay? Because they can only see a few signs of the paintings being speared. Because of that, it's difficult to explain this improving their luck at hunting was probably the main reason to draw animals. Okay, so let's read this part one more time. But if improving their luck was the chief motivation, so but if it's trying to say chief motivation is not improving their luck at hunting. Okay, then what is it? For the painting, it is difficult to explain why only a few show signs of having been speared. So it's saying, there's not enough reason, but it hasn't told us what's the real reason. Probably this sentence will tell us, hopefully. Perhaps, maybe, the paintings were inspired by, see, so the real reason, the main reason, the chief motivation, primary reason why they drew animals is maybe by the need to increase the supply of animals, right? So this may be the main reason why these people drew animals in their cave art, right? This is probably the main reason. Next sentence. Cave art seems to have, okay, highlighted sentence, reached a peak, okay, so reached the highest level of quantity, reached the peak towards the end of Upper Paleolithic period. Okay, so what does that mean? What is it? What does that got to do with anything? Reached the peak, cave art reached the peak towards the end of Upper Paleolithic period, which means when the herd of game were decreasing. Wow. Very logical, very, very clear. Okay. So this sentence exists to support this main idea. Okay. So this is the relationship. So the main idea of this sentence from here, from perhaps, is trying to say maybe the chief motivation for the painting animals was by the need to increase the supply of animals in order to increase the number of animals, right? And it explains why this would be the main reason. Cave art seem to have reached a peak towards at the end of Upper Paleolithic period. So they drew the most quantity of animals towards the end of Upper Paleolithic period. Why? When the herd of game were decreasing. So number of animals were decreasing. So trying to increase the supply of animals that they need, and they need to hunt. They were hoping, because number of animals were decreasing, less and less animals are available for them to hunt, they drew animals the most. Okay, why? Because their real reason was they were drawing animals in their cave art to hopefully increase the supply of animals, increase the number of animals. Okay, perfect logic. So answer should be this highlighted sentence is mentioned to support the idea that primary reason for drawing animals in their cave art was to increase the supply of animals. Okay, that should be the answer. A, B, C, D. So let's find out. To argue that Upper Paleolithic art ceased, stopped, put to the end, okay, ended. To argue that Upper Paleolithic art ended to include animals when a herd of game became scarce. No, it's just what happened as a result. It's just the detail. Okay, so this is not mentioned to tell you they drew more cave art when number of animals were decreasing. That's just what happened. The purpose of this sentence is to support this main idea. Okay, to provide support for the idea that, okay, so what is the idea that this is trying to support? The aim, objective of the painting was to increase the supply of animal for hunting. Perfect. Okay, so I'm not going to explain one more time because probably I explained it twice or three times already without looking at the answer choice, and it's exactly the same as what I said 2-3 minutes ago. Okay, so B is the perfect answer. Exactly what I said. So the purpose of this is to support this idea. That's what B says. C, to emphasize the continued improvement in the quality of cave art through, yeah, it's just off topic. Nothing to do with the quality of cave art. Okay, not answering the question. D, to show the direct connection between decrease in herds of game and the end of Upper Paleolithic period. Very much like A. It has no purpose. It's not answering the question. It shows what happened. Number of animals decreased, at the end of the Upper Paleolithic period, but so what? What's the purpose? Okay, so it's very much like A, it's off topic, it's not answering the question at all. Only B is the right answer, as I explained. Okay. All right. So question 5, the answer is B. Next question, please. Okay, question 6. According to paragraph 4, scholars believe that wild cattle, horses, and mammoth are the animals most frequently portrayed in cave paintings for all of the following reasons except. Okay, so it's a negative factual question. So we are looking for wrong information as the right answer. The question is asking for us to do that, if that makes sense. If that makes sense, okay. So it's saying wild cattle, horses, and mammoth are the animals most frequently portrayed, drew in cave painting, and there are reasons for that. So 3 answer choices will be one of the reasons, right reason, and 1 answer choice will not. So we need to find one that is not the reason as the answer, because it's asking us to find except. Okay. So for this one, let's look at the answer choices first. It might, give us good hint, and then we can just find and match the answer choice up as we read the paragraph. That might be easier. A, these animals were difficult to hunt because of their unpredictable behavior. Okay, so they drew wild cattle, horses, and mammoth most frequently because they were difficult to hunt because their unpredictable behavior. This is a reason. The second reason why they drew this animal most frequently, people prefer these animals for their meat and for their skins. Okay, that's the reason. C, the painters admire the beauty of these large animals. I don't know. I'm not saying anything here, but don't you think it's a bit funny because probably like they were drawing because they wanted to hunt them or whatever, but because they were drawing them because they were beautiful? I don't know, but logically, I have a big doubt on C, but let's not take a shortcut. D, people feared these animals because of their size and speed. So because they were scared of them, because they were so big and fast, they drew these animals, okay, to get rid of the fear, right, and hunt them. All right, so 3 are the right reasons. 1 is not. So let's try to find it. Paragraph 4, let's read it. The particular symbolic significance of the cave paintings in southwestern France is more explicitly revealed, perhaps by the result of study conducted by researchers Patricia Rice and Ann Patterson. Okay, so tell us about the study, how directly, explicitly symbolic significance is revealed. Tell us. The data they present suggests that what? The animals portrayed in the cave paintings were mostly the ones that the painters preferred for meat and for the materials such as hides. Okay, so the animals they drew were mostly the one the painters preferred for their meat and materials such as hides. Hides is another word for animal skin. Okay, all right. So yeah, so that was mentioned where? Here, right? Okay, so this sentence is talking about B. So B is the right reason. So we are not looking for right reason. So B is the wrong answer. Okay. It's here. For example, why wild cattle, horses are portrayed more often than we would expect by chance, probably because they wanted to eat their meat and they had probably like a big skin, big fur. Okay, because they were larger and heavier, so they could get more meat out of it. So they wanted to catch large animal to have a big dinner than other animals in the environment. So probably it's referring to other small animals that they cannot get as much meat. Okay. Cool. Next. In addition, the paintings mostly portray animals that the painters may have feared the most. There you go. So probably D is coming. If they feared size and speed, scroll down a little bit. Okay, because of their size and speed. Bang. So this matches D. So this is the right reason. We're not looking for the right reason. So D is not the answer. Okay, let's read it again. In addition, the paintings mostly portray animals that the painters may have feared the most, D, because of their size and speed. Natural weapons such as tusks and horns, and the unpredictability of their behavior. So we're done here. So this came from A, right? Voila. Okay, they drew these animals because of their unpredictable behavior, right? Okay. So, yeah, as we expected. Okay. Sorry, the marking is not very clear. So let's grade them out. Okay. So answer is C. And nowhere in the passage it mentions the painters drew these animals because they looked beautiful. All right. I guess we could read the rest of the paragraph, but we won't because this is a lecture of answer and explanation. And hopefully you had a chance to solve these questions by yourself. And we all know there's no mentioning of upper Paleolithic people drawing these animals because they were beautiful anywhere. So I won't read the rest of the paragraph because I don't want to waste your time. Okay. So B came from here. D came from here. A came from here, as you can see on the screen. So the answer is C. Question 6, C. Next question, please. Okay, question 7. Here we go. According to paragraph 4, which of the following may best represent the attitude, so probably inference question, attitude of hunters toward deer and reindeer in the Upper Paleolithic period? Okay, so if you try to solve this question already before watching this video, only time rain and reindeer appears in this paragraph is here, right here. Deer and reindeer in this sentence. Okay. All right. Nowhere else to be found. So that is mammoths, bovines, and horses are portrayed more often than deer and reindeer. That's it. So it is inference question because we need to work out what does this mean when mammoths, bovines, and horses are portrayed more often than deer and reindeer. What does it mean to rain and not rain, deer and reindeer? Okay, but it's very easy. We just need to comprehend, in an indirect way. Okay. All right. So if somebody says, I am fatter than you, okay, means what? You are skinnier. Okay. All right. So it's not even inference, really, if you think about it. It's a very easy inference question. Okay. So yeah, I could read from the top and comprehend. Because I've done it already in the previous question, let me be real quick. Okay. So the data they present suggests that they drew these large animals because they wanted their meat and skin. Okay. All right. Because they were big and large, they could get a lot of meat out of it, right? Remember the previous question? Please go back and watch the previous question if you cannot remember already. Okay. And in addition, painting mostly portrayed animal that they may have feared the most, but they had to hunt. Okay, so two things, right? The main idea certainly is they drew these big animals. What were they? These mammoth, bovines, and horses, because they wanted the larger meat. Okay, a lot of meat and skins. And also they drew them because they had to hunt them, but they were scary. Okay, of their size, speed, natural weapons, and unpredictability. So these are two reasons, right? Okay. So that's a quick summary of this paragraph so far. And we come to this sentence. That is, okay, that means mammoths, bovines, and horses, so these large animals that they drew the most often, are portrayed more often than deer and reindeer. Okay. Yeah. Why? Because they drew these animals for two reasons. First, they wanted their meat and skin because they were large animals. They wanted to get more quantity of meat. And because they were scary. They were big, fast, scary animals. Okay. So that's why they drew them. So if they drew this animal more often than deer and reindeer, it just means deer and reindeers were opposite or not as much as this large animal. Okay. So these upper Paleolithic people did not want to catch deer or reindeer for the meat or skins because deer and reindeer were not as big. So they could not get as much meat compared to catching these large animals. And second, they were not scared of deer and reindeer as much as mammoth, bovines, and horses. Okay, so what can we infer? Yeah, it's indirect comprehension. Okay, they call it inference, but it's not even inference. Inference question has a slightly different types, which I hope to introduce all of you. Okay, so there are slightly different questions. Okay, but this question type is you just, do an indirect comparison. Okay, if the passage says, I am fatter than you, the answer would be, you are skinnier than James. Okay, all right. Okay, so that's the answer. So this tells us they were not as scared of deer and reindeer, and they did not want the meat and skins of deer and reindeer as much as these large animals. Okay, so let's choose the right answer. A, hunters did not fear deer and reindeer as much as they did large game animals. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so it doesn't cover both, but it certainly covers the second part that I talked about. So it's still the right answer. It's not incorrect or wrong answer, but let's cover other answer choices just to be sure. Hunters were not interested in hunting deer and reindeer, yeah, because of their size, yeah, maybe, and speed. This is wrong. Okay, it has nothing to do with it. Yeah, maybe size, because you can infer. It says they wanted larger and heavier, meatier, larger animal with more meat, but there's no mentioning that they preferred large animals because of their speed. They preferred large animals for their meat and skins because of their size. C, hunters preferred the meat and hides of deer and reindeer to those of other animals. Exactly opposite. Okay, they wanted the meat and hides of large animals than deer and reindeer. They did not want deer and reindeer's meat more than the large animals. No, that's not true. D, hunters avoided deer and reindeer because of their natural weapons. Is just going absurd. Okay, exactly opposite. This, because of their natural weapons, was mentioned in the passage as we read together when it was talking about these larger animals as one of the reasons why they fear them. Okay, so certainly hunters did not avoid deer and reindeer because of deer and reindeer's natural weapon. Absolutely not. Okay. Yeah, so very clear inference question, but not very hard. Very simple. Okay. Question 7. The answer is A. Next question, please. All right. Question 8. Here we go. According to paragraph 5, which of the following has been used as evidence to suggest that, what is a suggestion? Upper Paleolithic people were capable of complex thought and conscious awareness of their environment. Okay, so this looks like a factual question. We're getting 2 or 3, I think, okay, in this set. So according to paragraph 5, there is some evidence we need to find, the fact we need to find that can be suggested that, what is the idea? Upper Paleolithic people were capable of complex thought and conscious awareness of their environment. Okay, there's something that help us to say, because of this reason, yeah, they were complex thinker, Upper Paleolithic people, and they were aware of their environment, okay, consciously. So let's find that out. What is that can tell us that they were capable of complex thought? Here we go. Paragraph 5. Upper Paleolithic art was not confined to cave paintings. Okay, so the Upper Paleolithic art was not only cave paintings. There were other forms of art other than cave paintings. Many shafts of spears and similar objects were decorated with figures of animals. Okay, so they were like decorations of objects, right? Or spears. They were decorations. Maybe engravings, okay? So decoration as art, not just painting, okay? The anthropologist Alexander Marshak has an interesting interpretation of some of the engravings, okay? So engravings were, other form of art other than painting, and it was engraving of the objects, okay? Okay, sorry. Let me read this from here again. I interrupted myself. My apologies. The anthropologist Alexander Marshak has an interesting interpretation of some of the engravings made during the Upper Paleolithic. Okay, tell us what is your interesting interpretation of these engravings? He believes that as far back as 30,000 BC, okay, so long time ago, what did he find? Hunters may have used the system of notation. Wow. So that long ago, Really? So Upper Paleolithic people used some kind of notation system. Okay. Notation system, engraved. So engraving was like some kind of a note taking system or some kind of a writing, if I can call that. Okay. So system of notation engraved on bone and stone to do what? To mark the phase of the moon. Wow, that's pretty advanced. That's pretty intense. Like, can you imagine 30,000 BC? More than 30,000 years ago, like no internet, no nothing, right? But they this means they somehow knew the phases of the moon. They knew different phases of the moon, right? That come to the full moon and half moon and so forth. They need a phase. They knew the phases, right? Because they knew the phases, they engraved this in system of notation to bones and stone. Wow, that's pretty smart, right? If this is true, it would mean that Upper Paleolithic people were capable of complex thought. There you go. Boom. And were consciously aware of this environment, their environment. Okay, so this is the cause, reason, and this is effect and or result. Right? So the cause is, okay, if it's true that Upper Paleolithic people engraved system of notation to show phases of the moon, then it means Upper Paleolithic people were capable of complex thought and were consciously aware of their environment. Okay, this is the proof. This is a reason. It shows that. Okay, so this is the answer, and it will be slightly paraphrased. Okay, because this is the question, right? Okay, A. They engraved animal figures on the shaft of spears and other objects. So we need system of notation. More importantly, we need to show phases of the moon. Okay, but none of these keywords are in answer choice A. B, they may have used engraved signs, okay, signs as a notation, engraving, to record, show the phases of the moon. Voila. Perfect paraphrasing of this part. Okay. C, the figurine represent the human female in an exaggerated form. Doesn't answer the question. Off topic. D, they may have used the figurines to portray ideal type. Off topic. Not answering the question at all. Okay, like some of you might feel, hey, James, C and D appears this part of the passage. Why don't you work that out and show us? Yeah, I could, but I don't want to waste your time at this point, because whether C and D are included in this part of the paragraph or not, C and D are just not answering the question. Okay, all right, okay, so it's off topic. I'm not saying it's like bad sentence or meaning of the answer choices are bad, but it's just that it's not answering the question. So the question might be how long it took you to get an ice cream, okay, right now, okay, from the store right next to your house. The answer should be, 5 minutes, right? 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 2 minutes. You cannot say, oh, I got a donut from 15 minutes ago. Okay, like not answering the question. Okay, so because I hope you had a chance to do all the questions by yourself, like doing the test. I decide not to cover this part because, I want to save your time. And C and D, in every way you look at it, is just not answering the question at all. Only answer is, as you can see here, they use the engraving through system of notation that marked phases of the moon. This is the answer. So B is the right answer. Question A, the answer is B. Next question, please. Okay, question 9, second last question. All right. Okay, we're approaching the end. Okay, here we go. Question 9. Insertion question. Insert a text question. Look at the 4 squares that indicate where the following sentences could be added to the passage. So this is the passage. Okay. And there are 4 available boxes that this sentence could fit and make sense, right? So the answer should be this sentence in red should fit into this box, this box, this box, this box. First, second, third, fourth. Okay. So let's read the given sentence first, this red sentence. Therefore, wow, huge transition. Therefore, okay, huge hint. So same as so, okay. Therefore, if the paintings were connected with hunting, okay, some other explanation is needed. Okay. All right. So therefore is huge hint. Why? Because we know it's cause and effect transition. So one sentence immediately before this sentence, there must be a cause or reason. Same thing. Okay. For us to say therefore. Okay. And the contents is if the painting were connected with hunting, some other explanation is needed. So one sentence before this sentence should give us some sentence and the meaning of the sentence, the contents should be about why this is not enough evidence to claim that the paintings were connected with hunting. We need some, that kind of a sentence, one sentence before we put this sentence in. So after that sentence, we can say, so, because of the previous sentence, so if paintings were connected with hunting, some other explanation is needed. This is not enough. Okay. So it's cause and effect, right? All right. So let's read the passage. We are moving back to paragraph 3, the second part of the paragraph 3. Another explanation for the focus on animals might be that these people thought to improve their luck at hunting. Okay. So maybe their reason is to improve their luck at hunting that they drew animals, right? So we know the first box is impossible. Like first box cannot be the answer because to put in here, this first sentence I read should be about why this reason or evidence is not enough, not sufficient enough, not substantial enough to claim that this is the reason why they drew animals, right? But first sentence main idea is another explanation for the focus of animals might be that it was to improve their luck at hunting. So cannot be the first box. Okay. This theory is suggested by evidence of chips in the painted figures, perhaps made by spears thrown at the drawing. So again, second box is impossible because this sentence previous to second box must say something negative or not enough or insufficient to claim this is the reason. Okay. But this sentence here is a clear reason that supports this claim of they drew animals maybe to improve their luck at hunting. Okay, for example, you could see the chips in the painted figures, perhaps made by spears thrown at the drawing. So, see, this is evidence. Okay, so they did it to improve their luck at hunting, right? So, second box cannot be. Wow, I like this already. But so, it's huge hint because this sentence would be against the previous sentence. It will be a contrast. It will go to a different or opposite direction or even disagree to the previous sentence. And previous two sentences are supporting, the painting was to improve their luck at hunting, but it has but. So probably it's going to talk about maybe it's not true or it's not enough or it may not be true. Okay, so let's read through. But it looks very promising, okay, because of but. But if improving their hunting luck was the chief motivation for the paintings, meaning it's not, right? If it was, it is difficult to explain why only a few. Let me highlight this so you can see it clearly. There, I highlighted. Okay, but if improving their hunting luck was the chief motivation for the paintings, it is difficult to explain why only a few show signs of having been speared. So let's comprehend this perfectly. Okay, what is this saying, right? If improving their hunting luck was chief motivation, then there should be not only a few signs of having been speared, there should be many signs, tons of signs, lots of signs, okay? Lots of signs of this picture being speared. It should be, but it's not. It is not. It's opposite. Only a few show signs of the painting having been speared. So that's not enough information. That's not enough evidence. This evidence is not convincing enough. It's not complete enough. So we can just stick it right here. Okay? All right? Because of this reason, because they only show a few signs of this evidence. So, therefore, if paintings were connected with hunting, then we need more explanation, more evidence, better evidence. Perfect. So answer should be third box, right? Third box or C. Okay. All right. In real test, you click the mouse here and drag it to the third box. That's what you do. Okay. All right. So this is perfect and complete, but let's just quickly double check that fourth box does not make sense whatsoever. Perhaps the paintings were inspired by the need to increase the supply of our animal. We're talking about different subject. We move on. It's almost like next paragraph, isn't it? Right? Not just next sentence. Move on to different topic. So kind of the bus you're waiting is gone. Okay, is leaving and you cannot catch it. So, fourth box cannot be the answer, but perhaps the painting were inspired by need to increase the supply of animals. So it's talking about different topic altogether. So this highlighted sentence cannot fit in after this sentence. Okay, but let's read one more sentence. Cave art seemed to have reached the peak towards the end of Upper Paleolithic period when it's talking about different topic. It cannot fit in here. Okay, right? It can only fit in here because this sentence, this one sentence previous to the third box is talking about the reason why there is not sufficient enough explanation, reason, evidence to claim paintings were primarily connected with hunting. Okay, yeah. So third box is the right answer. C is the answer. Question 9, third or C. Next question. The last question, please. Okay, guys, question 10. Let's finish this. Last question, of course. An introductory sentence for a brief summary of the passage is provided below. Okay. Complete the summary by selecting 3 answer choices that express the most important ideas in the passage. So 3 answer choices that express the most important ideas are the right answers. We need to choose 3 right answers. Some sentences do not belong in the summary. Why? Because they express ideas that are not presented. Of course, if it's not in the passage, then it's a wrong answer, wrong content, right? So they will be wrong. Or are minor idea in the passage. So it has to be major idea, main idea, important idea in the passage. Even the details are true. If it's minor detail, it's not going to be the answer. Okay. Cool. Let's go. Upper Paleolithic cave painting in Western Europe are among humanity's earliest artistic effort. Okay. Let's look at A. Researchers have proposed several different explanations for the fact that, okay, so they propose what? Different explanation, different theories, different reasons. For what? For the fact that animals were the most common subject in the cave paintings. Okay. So this is paragraph 3, if you remember. Or if you care to go back to previous questions or rewind this video a little bit if you want to the paragraph 3. So paragraph 3 gives us different explanation, different theories, different reasons why perhaps Paleolithic people drew animals, okay, as a subject of their painting. And paragraph 3 proposed, first reason was, they believed if they drew humans, it may bring death and injury. So that was first reason, right? And what was the second reason? Second reason, improve their luck at hunting. And the third explanation was because they were in need to increase the supply of the animal, right? Okay. So yeah, paragraph 3 has this information to explain. Okay, what were some explanations, different explanation, why animals were subject of the cave painting? So A is definitely the right answer and comes from paragraph 3. Okay, B. The art of cultural period that followed the Upper Paleolithic ceased to portray large game animal. It's a bit misleading. It said not they see, yeah, like large game animal ceased to exist. Okay, so I think B is wrong already. And focused instead on the kinds of animal that people of that period prefer to hunt. Cool. So A, bit iffy. I mean, the beginning part. Second part is definitely not mentioned. Okay, to help us. Okay, so it doesn't say anywhere in the passage that now that these large game animals like a mammoth became extinct, they start drawing reindeers because they like those. Something, not mentioned at all. Okay, so this part is not mentioned at all. So B is wrong. Okay, C. Some researchers believe that the paintings found in France provide more explicit evidence of their symbolic significance than, wow, it's going a bit overboard, I think. So in paragraph 4, it says something like more symbolic significance was explicitly shown in France or southern France, something like that. but it doesn't compare directly with, to, against, than those found in Spain, Southern Africa, and Australia. It says something like, like more explicit, generally explicit, direct, symbolic significance was shown, but I don't remember it clearly comparing that this evidence in France was more explicit than Spain, Southern Africa, and Australia exactly. It's just not mentioned. Okay. So this is from paragraph 4. D. The cave paintings focus on portraying animal without also depicting the natural environment in which these animals are typically found. I think I'm going to keep this, but I know this is wrong because it looks wrong, even if it's not. It's a very minor detail because the cave painting focus on portraying animals, yeah, without depicting the natural environment is true. It's a beginning of the paragraph 3, in which these animals are typically found, right? It's kind of true that they didn't have any background at all. They just drew the animals, but it's very minor. If not, it's slightly wrong. And also look at A. We have perfect main idea, very expansive, not expensive, expansive, like general and wide, right? Important ideas, important detail, main idea of paragraph 3. So, whether D is slightly wrong, even if it's a right information, this is like a super detail. So, D cannot be the answer. Okay. And also it comes from paragraph 3. So main idea is here. Okay. Okay, E. Some researchers, so E and F both better be the answer. E. Some researchers have argued that the cave paintings mostly portray large animals that provided Upper Paleolithic people with meat and material. Yeah. One of the main idea of paragraph 4, isn't it? Right? Remember paragraph 4? It talked about they wanted to hunt mammoth, bovine, and what else was it? Okay, they wanted to catch these large animals, right? Because first of all, they wanted their meat and skins, hides, right? For example, they need mammoth, so they get, lots of meat, okay, because it's a very large animal. So that's one of the main ideas in paragraph 4, okay? And also another reason why they portrayed large animals mostly was because they fear them. They need to hunt them. They want the animal for their meat and skins, so they drew them, but also they drew them because they were quite scary because of their size and speed, natural weapons, and unpredictability, right? So E is definitely one of the main ideas, very important point, okay? So E is the right choice. F, besides cave paintings, Upper Paleolithic people produce several other kind of artwork. So this is paragraph 5, isn't it? Right? So paragraph 5 talks about how they produce engravings with a system of notation to mark, show. They understand the phases of the moon, which which is a proof that they were complex thinker and they were consciously aware of the environment. Do you remember? So that's paragraph 5, right? So F, besides cave painting, Upper Paleolithic people produce several other kinds of artwork, one of which has been thought to provide evidence of complex thought. Perfect. And the type of artwork was engravings to show they understand the phase of the moon, as I said. Okay, so that's paragraph 5. So let's okay, summarize here. Answer is A, E, F. Okay, so if you chose A, E, F, you got question 1, right? Okay, and A comes from paragraph 3. Okay, E comes from paragraph 4, and F comes from paragraph 5. Okay, so the answers are A, E, F. Question 10, A, E, F. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope and I'm sure that this has benefited you. Okay, this video helped you to improve your TOEFL skills, I hope. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll continue and I'll come back with the next video. Thank you, guys.